Shabbat Shalom, dear friends. Shabbat Shalom. This week we have the privilege of having Shabbat Zachor, the Shabbat that precedes Purim. We're all excited. We're all going to have a lot of fun. We're all looking forward to the joyous holiday of Purim. But this Shabbat, before Purim, we read a particular section of the Torah from Deuteronomy in the Maftir, which says about Amalek, Timche et zeker Amalek mitachad hashamayim lo tishkach. You shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. You shall never forget. What's going on here? In fact, here is a call for the ancient Israelites to destroy a whole people, all of the people of Amalek. And the Haftarah goes on to tell us that it was meant literally. Samuel tells first King Saul to go out against and fight and attack Amalek. The Haftarah says, attack Amalek, proscribe all that belongs to him, spare no one, but kill alike men and women, infants and sucklings, oxen and sheep, camels and donkeys. It is a call for murder. After the Holocaust and after all the terrible things that have happened in the world in recent memory, this reading of the Torah presents many moral questions, many quandaries for us to ponder very seriously. Let me offer a few suggestions of how we can understand this difficult passage in the Torah. We have some of our major halachists who said when it came to the holiday of Purim, and from reading this Torah portion, they actually left it out in their law codes. Both Yaakov ben Asher in the Torah and Yosef Karo in the Shulchan Aruch, when listing all of the mitzvot of Purim, leave out this one. Just leave it out. Hopefully by ignoring it, it might go away. That's one possibility. There's a second possibility I'd like to share. Hear from some modern biblical commentators asking the question, what was the sin of Amalek? What did they do that was so terrible that they were to be annihilated entirely? There are others who attacked the Jewish people, the ancient Jewish people, the Israelites, and they weren't to be blotted out. What was it about Amalek that was so terrible? Abarbanel, the commentator Abarbanel, comes to tell us that Amalek deviated from the normal fighting about war in the ancient world. Amalek attacked a weak and defenseless bunch of slaves on the road just for the sake of attacking them. It wasn't going to enhance their reputation. Amalek was already well known for being a vicious and victorious ancient people. It wasn't going to stop the ancient Israelites from leaving Egypt. They were already gone. It was an unjust war motivated by hatred. It is this irrational hatred that is why we are called to eradicate Amalek. If only we would have killed off the original anti-Semites, perhaps anti-Semitism wouldn't continue in our day. Perhaps we had a lapse many years ago, and so that's why we are reminded of it again. There's a third way to look at it. This one often found in Hasidic commentaries, which give it a allegorical interpretation. The enemy is not without, the enemy is within. The enemy is inside of us. It is our Yetzer Hara. It is our evil inclination. In other words, we are commanded to do some soul searching. We are commanded to blot out the evil that is inside of us as individuals. Finally, let me share with you one commentary that kind of resonates with me the most. When we talk about Amalek in this special maftir reading for Shabbat Zachor. It says about Amalek, not only should they be wiped out, it says right before that, Lo Yira Elohim. They were undeterred by a fear of God. Lo Yira Elohim. Undeterred by a fear of God. The Amalekites had no fear of God. And that's why they were at war. But who were they at war with? They were not at war with the ancient Israelites. They were at war with God. The Torah verse, though, doesn't stop there. It continues to say that Amalek attacked the stragglers. First it says, Lo Yira Elohim. They were undeterred by their fear of God. And then they attacked the defenseless, the orphans, the poor, and those who were straggling from behind. Professor Nechama Leibowitz, who I had the pleasure of studying with, linked those two together. And she said, the Amalekites had no fear of God, and that's why they cut down the stragglers. The litmus test for no fear of God or for fear of God is one's attitude to the weak and to the stragglers. So Amalekites are the archetype of the godless who attack the weak because they are weak, who cut down the stragglers in every generation. So how are we to understand this mitzvah on Shabbat Zachor, to blot out Amalek? Perhaps we can understand it as the original command to root out anti-Semitism at its core. Perhaps we can understand it as the struggle within ourselves to root out the evil inclination that was within our own souls. And finally, perhaps it is a command to respond to the needs of the weak and to the stragglers that are in our society. It is a moral conundrum. It does raise some difficult questions, but I do also think it has some rational explanations that resonate with us today. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.